I can. I can. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So thank you, Linesh. Appreciate it. And thank you for hosting this. Appreciate it very much. Do you want to kick off, Linesh or Elena? Do you want to kick off by introducing quick introductions? Or
yeah, if
Well,
like we can
let's
just quickly
everyone say yes. Linesh, you.
Sure. Sure. So yes, once again I'm Linesh Dave, and we're part of the Masters of Data Analytics program in UMGC, which is University of Maryland Global Campus. And I thought, as I mentioned to Elena and a couple others, that I'd been looking at this tool. I know EazyML team came over and introduced us to this tool and gave a nice demo a couple of weeks back to a meetup that I host and organize here in New Jersey. And I thought this would be a great idea to kind of for us to take a look at it from a tool perspective and see if there would be an opportunity here for having it as part of our program in any way, or maybe for use by our students, and see what kind of framework or the policy that the EasyML team has for us. But so in short, I work as a TA, and as I said, I kind of support Elena and the rest of the team here for this particular program. And so we have Dr. Elena Gorcheva, who is the program chair for the program. You heard from Steve, Professor Kanode. He's been with this program for the longest time. He's actually one of my professors, and when I did this program, and I was the first, almost the first group of students to pass through this program. And then you have Yelena. Yelena has been my TA as well, and she's been with, associated with the UMGC for a very, very long time, almost 10 years, I believe. So yeah, I think there's a wealth of experience with, with all three, Dr. Gorsheva, Dr. Kanode, and with Elena. I think they've been with this program the most. And as I said, I've been one of the students, one of the first batch of students to pass from this program.
all right.
Excellent. I just want to say thank you for holding this. And actually, I'm simultaneously with this, I'm exploring several AutoML tools because we are interested somehow to include in the program, which is not easy because the program is very intense, very packed. So in order to include AutoML, we have to drop something, but this is going to happen, if not immediately, in short. So I'm very interested to see.
Okay, thank you, Elena, and thank you, Linesh. My name is Meeta Pandey, and I am joined here with the EasyML team, Deepak, Pranay, and Pramod, the principals of EasyML. I'll just go over the introductions really quickly. I manage the business operations and business development, so my role is to really identify opportunities where EasyML can really make an impact. Deepak, you want to go really quickly? Deepak is the CEO and the brain behind EasyML.
Yes. After my doctorate work at Chicago, was employed at Bell Labs for a long time. Then the entrepreneurial fever bit me and went and worked on 2 startups, IPsoft, which is hopefully headed for IPO this year, given what the situation is, and now EasyML. Very nice to meet everyone virtually. Hopefully we get to see each other one day.
Yes, Pranay, you want to quickly go?
Yeah, nice to meet you all. This is Pranay Pogde. I've been with EasyML since inception, partners in crime with everybody else here, Meeta. I was with, much like Deepak, I was with Bell Labs in the late 90s, working on the AIs when it was not really in the fashion. Machine learning has made it fashionable these days. I was with Juniper Networks, Nokia Networks after that, for many years. I was in the CTO office, and then to IPsoft, and there on was EazyML afterwards. So I lead the product development team here at EazyML. In fact, most of the feedback, if any, well, if you provide, that's going to make it to my roadmap. And I'll be the one who will be supporting you as you start to evaluate the system and make it part of your program.
Thank you, Pranay. Pramod, do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Are you talking to me?
No, I think Pramod. Is he speaking
on mute, maybe?
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so Pramod is part of our team as well. We all have known each other for a long time, and we have worked with each other. We were at IPsoft prior to founding DataNomers and EazyML. And probably some of you must have heard of IPsoft. They are a digital labor company, a global digital labor company, and they really pioneered innovation in the development and delivery of autonomic and cognitive computing. They have an NLP platform called Amelia, which is based after the aviation expert Amelia Earhart. And that NLP technology is something that leverages EazyML also. That's one of our big differentiators. So we all, Deepak, Pranay, and I, we all have been working together. First, we were at IPsoft, then DataNomers and EazyML. And we launched EazyML platform recently, although we have several solutions that we have innovated using the EazyML platform, but we didn't productize it until recently. We productized it just recently because our customers said that you guys have all these solutions and you use this platform. Why don't you give us that platform? So based on customer requests, we decided that we are going to productize this platform. And our vision really was to democratize machine learning. Pranay is going to show you how we have really made EazyML really, really easy to use. It has a GUI interface, and it has support for the developer community as well. So for those who are uninitiated in data science, they can use the GUI interface, which is very, very easy and intuitive interface. And for those who are experts or developers, they can use the APIs. Our vision was to democratize machine learning. It's very easy to use. It's transparent, very, very transparent. It explains, its predictions, traces. It helps users learn by providing the analysis, what your predictions are. It tells you what it's doing to your data in real time. And of course, because of our NLP prowess, Amelia, it has very strong unstructured text analytics support. So our unique proposition, democratization of machine learning. As I said, data scientists, developers, non-data scientists, we are going to show how it really addresses, all the communities. And then I'm just going to go real quickly. We are working with Oracle, and we are working with Microsoft. They are our partners. And this just talks about
yeah, it's just a data flow. I'm sure everyone on the call knows it. We don't have to spend time going through this. This is a regular data flow for any data science activity. You can keep rolling with that.
Okay, so this is where Pranay is going to explain. Pranay, you want to take over from here?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Quick couple of things before Pranay begins. So Meeta mentioned two differentiators here, right? One, okay, it's easy to use, and that is for the uninitiated people who leverage machine learning even if you're not the expert in statistics. But the audience we are talking here are globally recognized experts. And so Pranay will focus his delivery on APIs. And so the big question that stares in the face is, why EazyML for people who do this daily for a living and are the best at it? Two reasons primarily. Number one is the text analytics. A lot of decisions that humans make are determined by the stuff we read. Any content that has the gravity and is worthwhile to influence is usually written in textual format, aka a book in statistics, for instance. And you read through it, you understand it, subliminally becomes part of you, and when you are making a decision that it guides you. So textual content has a lot of predictive power. In many ways more than numeric, because we read a lot and that influences our decisions in many ways, considerably. The challenge is that textual analytics has not been exploited well. So you have solutions that have now come up are very powerful, like LSTMs, Google's BERT that they have open source, but they have issues. Try BERT to find semantic equivalence between a paragraph and the gist or the summary of that paragraph, and it may not do so well. Nuances, which are very obvious to the human mind, not so much to BERT. Relationships, that's key, between sentences, paragraphs, cause and effect, time sequencing, qualifiers. They are the essence of how we read and understand a text logically, not so to BERT. So it really posed an interesting challenge back in the IPsoft days, and that's where Amelia got invented as an NLP engine. That's not a strictly deep learning framework, and it was able to address some of these challenges. As a result, it got very high marks. It was rated higher than IBM Watson Analytics, for instance, Watson as a cognitive solution, for instance. And so that NLP prowess is part of the EazyML platform. So there are APIs that Pranay will talk about that let you exploit that textual analytics. Another thing that is very potent here is transparency. We are all so much enamored by deep learning framework, but there is a challenge there in that these models, so complex, are opaque. And that's a massive challenge because subject matter experts will not allow automation unless they trust. And trust is when you explain your predictions, explainable AI, right? So there have been attempts, and I'm sure you guys know it better than anyone else, by Lime and make them, Lime from U of Washington, make them from IBM, et cetera. And they're good attempts. And so we just took it a step further, and you will see that, maybe not today's demo because it will be focused on textual analytics, but hopefully you still can see it towards the end, time remaining, to see how it lays out very intuitively why the machine predicts the way it did. so that you can then have confidence and trust in its predictions and hand over the keys for automation. So for those two reasons and their APIs, you can stitch together your own data science platform, built from some open sources for ETL, et cetera, and EazyML for text or transparency, and then maybe a dashboard at Tableau for final display of results. It is as important to what it is, equally important is what it is not. It's not soup to nuts of machine learning. There are much better platforms that do ETL than EazyML. There are much better platforms that do data visualization, Tableau for instance, than EazyML. So it's got its strength, but it's not supposed to be a panacea for everything data science.
Any questions so far? Okay. So, Pranay,
can I share my screen?
yes.
Right. Oh, but it says host disable attendee screen sharing. So you'll have to enable or maybe make me host.
I did. Try again.
Okay, I see that now. All right. Hello, everyone. You can hopefully see my screen here. Helena.
Yep,
Yes.
we can see your
Yeah, we can see it.
All right. Okay, great. So this is the portal, EasyML.com, right? So like Rita mentioned earlier, there is something in here for non-data scientists, as well as those who want to be data scientists, as well as those who have been practicing data science for quite some time. So there are two flavors for enterprise and for personal. Very easy to sign up, for students who wants to give it a shot and learn ML by actually doing it, learning machine learning by doing machine learning. So when you go through the personal portal and click on Get Started, it's very easy to sign up for your students. You can sign up with Google or provide name, email, password, and then sign up. Once you sign up, you would be able to log into the portal, as well as using those very same credentials, you have access to treasure trove of applications, which is on the left here, and the APIs for developers. You can stitch together the entire pipeline. Right? So the slide that Mita had earlier, this was the box in the middle. So this is what EazyML offers, where once you have the training data set ready, it'll let you import the data set into the platform, either using the user interface portal, the graphical user interface, or by means of stitching together the APIs. Those APIs essentially allow you to prepare the data machine model building, which includes cleansing, which includes data type determinations, includes imputation, includes outlier detection. All that is part of preparation of the data for machine model building. The stage 2, the EasyML platform allows users to build and train the models. So which includes steps like feature engineering, right? Building models using several algorithms, random forest, neural networks, SVM, KNN, all of that is done automatically. After all, this is an AutoML platform, right? The objective is to automate as much of the machine learning pipeline as possible. And that's why you see many models here as gears. All these models are evaluated for their performance on the training data, right? Depending on classification problem or regression problem, those performance metrics are different, but the best one is recommended. Once the best one has been identified by the EasyML platform, that can be deployed, again, by means of APIs to run predictions. So that's in a nutshell what this EasyML platform offers.
And just a quick thing to what Pranay said. You see that App Store? Pranay, if you will, just click that.
Yes, let me go back to the App Store.
Really quick. Have you guys heard of XPRIZE?
Pranay, you can go
Steve,
on the website.
Elena, have you heard of XPRIZE?
Oh, yes, I've heard of XPRIZE, sure.
Yeah, so we are going to launch a joint collaboration with them for studying the psychological impact of COVID on global citizens. So one of the things, it's a multi-tier study, and what they really liked was that in addition to the hardcore data scientists, you can also have others, armchair quarterbacks, so to speak, also become part of this analysis. So look, the left one, sentiment analysis, for instance, that will be used to study by analyzing stuff, again, textual analytics, analyzing stuff from social media, blogs, stuff available that can be scraped by this scraping tool here, and then all subject to sentiment analysis to see what was the psychological impact of how the human sentiments have varied as we went into the lockdown, remained in lockdown, and hopefully are starting to emerge. Yeah. And this can get very fine-grained using the next app, that concept extraction. You can actually tell that now people are most worried about, will their job be there when they return? How many are worried about that? Are they worried about, is it safe even to go out? Yeah, you can go back to your job, but is it safe? Or they are worried about, what happens to my kids if I go to job, given that their schools are not, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that fine-grained extraction can be done using that concept extraction API. So XPRIZE plans to team up with us to do this study to see how the mental health, the psychology has been impacted because of this crisis by doing textual analytics and these App Store APIs.
Right. For every one of those, if you were to click on that API link, here is the API for the NLP enthusiasts. So to get the sentiments for a given body of text, or to get the gist of a given body of text, if that specific concept is present, or to do traditional topic mining on a given body of text. So for NLP enthusiasts, these APIs are published. So once you sign up, using the credentials, you can authenticate yourself. That's what the first API is, EasyAuth. And then you can move on to using each one of these sentiments, concepts, or topics APIs. This particular portal, App Store, is specifically for NLP. Now, NLP specific applications. Now, for the entire EazyML, the machine learning data flow, of course, you have a wider set of APIs in here where you can authenticate yourself. So those were the three distinct stages I was talking about: training data, pre-processing, where you can do imputation, outlier detection and removal, building models. We'll dive into these in detail as well, and then running predictions. And then, many times data scientists, those who have been practicing data science for quite some time, they would like to have a choice. Okay, I like your outlier detection method, but I would like to use my own imputation method. So in that case, you have the flexibility to insert yourself in the pipeline or get a snapshot of the data frame as it's progressing through this pipeline. You can take a snapshot of the data frame in the EazyML platform at any point. You can fetch it and then operate on it using your own proprietary methods and then insert it back into the pipeline. That's possible too. Then, of course, there are configuration options in here where, for example, you can enable hyperparameter optimization or rather aggressive hyperparameter optimization, which is going to be slower, but your models will turn out to be better in terms of performance. So all these APIs are described in their gory details here in this particular page. And that's a treasure trove of data science exercise for students. They can play with various APIs in here. For every one of these APIs, there are code examples, and there is REST API example as well as the Python library example. In fact, I'm going to take you down to one such example here behind the scenes. Now, that example that I'm going to show you, what it does is it implements the entire pipeline. So this is where EazyML fits in the traditional data science exercise. Okay. On the far left, you have data sources. They could be in Amazon Relational Database Service. They could be on Amazon S3 storage. They could be a file system, a Hadoop file system, or local file system. They could be in any of these cloud service providers, data management platforms. They all publish APIs. By means of using those APIs, you can bring all this data together and then perform ETL. Again, for ETL, the enterprises as well as many data science enthusiasts, they have their own personal ETL tools of choice. We let them use those tools of choice, be it Tableau, Alteryx, or the native Python pandas, in order to manipulate and transform the data. And then again, using APIs, you can push it to EazyML pipeline. The entire EazyML pipeline itself could be stitched together with the APIs that I just showed. And finally, the results could be pulled out and then exported to the reporting and visualization tools of your choice. Whether you use Pentaho, Tableau, or in the student world, the other choices, D3.js, or whatever they prefer. They can pull all the results out of the EazyML platform and build reports. This entire pipeline, most of this pipeline is what I intend to show in here. So EazyML flow, the first exercise is to do ETL, right? So I have some sample files stored in these various data stores. So I have a data file stored in, for example, Amazon S3 storage. Right? You could pull the file out of the Amazon S3 storage platform. You can pull it from the local file system, could be HDFS or whatever you have locally, or you could pull the data from Amazon's relational database service. Once you pull those using the APIs, the native APIs published by these data management platforms, you can then perform the ETL exercise. Now, here it's a very simple ETL exercise, which is merging 3 data frames. You could do join operations, or you can apply all kinds of sophisticated filters just to showcase what is possible. It's showing that you can concatenate or you can merge the 3 data frames for training. And then you put it out for feeding into the EazyML pipeline. Real simple, there are several such sample examples also available on the GitHub. If you're to go look at the Python clients, there is a GitHub page. Students can download the code, the examples, they're all in here. Examples for text analytics are in here too. So that's the EazyML page in here, where you have examples for EazyML apps. Stitching together the pipeline, EasyML client, and the data sets too that they can play with. So when you run this script, it's gonna do all those steps that I described in the initial part of the flow. So the first two blocks, fetch the data from various storage platforms and perform ETL. Now that it is ready, then you can build the EazyML client where you authenticate yourself. Okay. After you have signed up, you got your authentication token that's used in the rest of the pipeline to upload the data set into EazyML pipeline, run imputation, do outlier detection, and so on and so forth. So I have this final sequence where you do authentication, upload, impute, outlier detection, set the outcome for your challenge at hand, which could be classification or regression, build the models. But before you build the models, of course, there is feature engineering in here. If you wanted to derive predictors from the text, you could do so. Build the models, run predictions. So this entire code, again, available on GitHub. Let me just run it. Stage 1 authentication. Data set loaded. There were no missing values in this particular data sets, so imputation was not required. Outcome has been specified here. Now, this is where feature engineering and text predictors derivation comes into place. So here, the data set that I'm using is actually, let me show you the data set. It's basically reviews collected from social media platforms. So in this case, it's many of these reviews are from Instagram. Now those reviews are natural language text. So when you're dealing with natural language text and you want to build models using text predictors, so you could use sentiments, topic mining, or concept extractions. So I illustrate the two of them in here, sentiments and topic mining. So what we have done is, behind the scenes, the EazyML APIs are deriving these topics from the given bodies of text. Perform the feature engineering, then build several machine learning models in here. You would see many of them in here, KNN, AdaBoost, decision trees, and so on and so forth, along with their performance. Then the best model is used for predictions. And in the end, this is something which Deepak highlighted, was explainability, AI explainability. It's, again, it's in the trend these days, but it's very hard to achieve. Transparency or explainability being one part of the transparency theme on the EazyML platform is something which is a unique differentiator of this platform. If you were to ask, there are so many AutoML platforms out there. Why another one? If something which stands out, or actually there are two which stand out, the text analytics with concept extraction, which is out of the league, the traditional ones being sentiments and topic mining, but this takes it a step beyond, which nobody else has to offer, which is concept extraction, get the gist out of the body of the text. And then the transparency theme, where explain me why you predicted the way you did. So those explanations, the platform offers you those explanations by means of APIs. You can pull those explanations. Now here it says that it was predicted awareness. Why? Because, well, the sentiment score was negative. It happens to be in that range. But more importantly, nobody was recommending this particular airlines. And that's why it's awareness only and not advocacy. So
one thing what Pranay just mentioned is, in terms of explainable AI, there is global importance, right? And that's done reasonably well by various solutions, including EazyML. All your training data, these are the predictors that were important or core in building the model. These ones played important role. But then there is local importance, right? The kind that Lime tries to do, for instance. And that's where things get tricky. And that's where the platform does reasonably well, EazyML. As you can see, it explains that particular prediction local to that point, not all the not a perspective of the entire training data set and what's important, what's not important, but instead what played that particular prediction. And that's where this platform does reasonably well.
Right. So that was the API flavor I talked to you about. Let me log into the platform. So if you, after you sign up, you click on that login from EazyML page. You can log in using your Google account, or you can type in username and password. The students would come to this portal, which allows them to run through the entire pipeline in one of the two modes. Detail mode is where they can override machines' decisions. So when I say machines' decision, I mean EazyML platform's decisions. It's an AutoML platform. It will make many of those decisions for you automatically. If you want it to override, or if you're a first-time user of the platform, detail mode is the recommended mode. Accelerated mode is much like everything is stitched together. You'll be prompted only for a couple input options, and then the platform will do the rest of the job automatically, start to finish. Detail mode, there is plenty of help available here, and this is context-sensitive help. So which means as you go through screens to screens, from one screen to the next, the help would change. It will be specific to that particular screen, and not just that particular to that screen, but specific to the data set that you have uploaded. At any point of time, if you want to abandon the pipeline, you can click home button and you'll be back here, right? So this is a standard run-of-the-mill, upload training data. You can upload from your device or from Google Drive. You upload a file in here. I have this training data that I was talking about. So reviews pulled from social media platform and label as one of the two, awareness or advocacy. Is someone strongly advocating for flying in these airlines? Right. If you just say, I've been hearing good things about Delta, it's just an awareness. Well, this is a data set which is from one of our clients on the West Coast who wanted to use these reviews in order to run their marketing campaigns. They wanted to label in two of these groups, awareness or advocacy, and for each one of those groups, the marketing campaign is run differently. So that's the data set, 125 records, 3 variables in there. You can go through the entire process in here, pretty much standard. The types of the variables determined automatically. You can see that there is a text in there. Standard characteristics of the variable. If you happen to have a lot of numeric variables, you would see the mean, median, standard deviation, all those values. Outlier removal, for example, I was talking about this earlier, available also by means of APIs. It gives you help as to what's high level, contextual description as well as details if you wanted to know which algorithms are used behind the scenes in the platform. And if you wanted to override, yes, you can using the APIs, of course. No outliers in the data set. You finally have to specify what is that you're trying to predict, and you are at the end of data processing stage. Okay. You can visualize. There is a visualization option in here, but in the interest of time, we'll move forward. Stage 1, data processing complete. Stage 2 is model building, where you can build 2 kinds of model, predictor models and time series models. The EazyML platform automatically determines this problem to be classification based on the outcome variable. Do you want to remove dependent predictors? Default recommendation being made by the machine. No, we'll go with that. Now here, we were talking about the text. Now this platform's another uniqueness is it lets you mix and mix the traditional numeric and categorical variables along with the text variables. Most of the platforms would let you do one or the other, and then you have to get the analysis done on those two separately and bring it together yourself. But here, in your data set, you could have had numeric columns as well as textual columns in the same spreadsheet. Okay? And you can run it through the platform. Now, if you happen to have text columns in there, and you could have more than one text columns, in this case, I had reviews, but you could have had the snapshot of the review highlight, and you could have had the entire description of the reviews, like title and the description. So if you have the text variable, it allows you to do any of the four. Sentiments, commodity these days. EazyML platform also offers sentiments, although it has an edge over the other sentiment APIs out there in the market. If you are in text analytics, you know what GLOVE is, Global Vectors from Stanford. Topic extraction is the traditional topic mining. And the concept extraction is, again, something unique to the platform that we've been talking about. Right? So in here, you could choose any one of those combinations and then do your feature engineering. So the platform is going to derive sentiments, extract topics. If there are numeric variables, it's going to use those in the mix as well, and get the data ready for building the model with those features. So although the input had only these three, the platform on which it was posted, the comments, and the category, but you can see that the platform, EazyML platform, ended up adding this whole bunch of others. The words corresponding to the most common topics across various reviews. Those are all in here. So all these predictors were added by the platform automatically.
Wow.
Sorry, is there a question? Oh, all right. So this is where machine builds the model. The models that were built by the APIs behind the scenes, the same APIs are used by the front end, and we are building the models. We're building several machine learning models that we did through the APIs. Same thing is done behind the scenes by the UI as well. Those are the models which were built with their corresponding performance metrics. It's a classification problem. That's why you see kappa and accuracy. If it was a regression, you will see R-square and RMSE in here. The global importance, across the entire training data set, which variables or predictors were found to be important in decision making. So here they are, sentiments being one of them. But more importantly, the words, if you are strongly advocating for something, then you tend to use the words like recommend, or promote, or take this flight, or urge, for example. So if you look at the training data, you would see lots of reviews with lots of words, but the platform was able to sift the most important ones, which help you with the decision making. If a human were to read through those reviews and label those reviews as just awareness or someone strongly advocating for it, they would, in turn pay attention to these semantics too. Is someone really recommending for the flight, promoting it? Those human observations are automatically bubbled up to the top by the EazyML platform. So those are the global importance. Second stage, model building is complete. This is where you can, now that your models are ready, actually you have more than one model. It allows you to run predictions on all of them. As a student, sometimes if I have seen, I see that two competing models at the top, I would like to use both of them to see what the predictions on the test data turn out to be. Oh. So this platform allows you to do that, as you're running through the experiments, allows you to choose any of the models and run your predictions. You can upload test data, again, from multiple sources, either from local file system or Google Drive. And then I should have the test in here. That's the text data set in here. Predictions are ready. And you would see all those, on the test data, again, the very same predictors are derived automatically. And there would be predictions in the, and in here. These are the predicted categories. Those which match, well, in this test data, there was label. So that's why you can compare and say that, well, did it match the label in the test data or not? Well, in most cases, it did here. And if it doesn't, then it will highlight in the red here. And on to the next, that's the important thing we have been talking about, transparency, understanding the predictions, explainability. Do you want to understand why EazyML predicted the way it did? If you're to choose yes, it lets you choose any of these data points and let the machine explain it to you. Okay, for example, if you choose this data point, it says, the model predicted awareness. Well, in this particular case, sentiment is on the negative side, but more than that, the semantically equivalent words of urge are missing from this body of review. Or if you were to take another data point in here, this is the third one, or fourth one, we can take any one of those. The model predicted advocacy because of the following conditions in the decreasing order of their influence. It's because in this review, the reviewer is recommending to fly. So when you see the presence of those concepts, someone recommending to fly, then yes, it is someone advocating for taking this flight. And then the local importance variable. The local importance variable, traditionally in the research, it's Lime or Makem from IBM, for example. So this particular local importance algorithm beats those two. It's in the context of this particular data point, what is important is what this bubbles up to the top. And this local importance is different from the global importance. It's only for this particular data point.
Yeah.
All right, I know I have just 5-6 minutes left. I wanted to show another important aspect of transparency, which is traceability. The platform's ability to tell you what all did you do to be able to trace backwards and see all your choices that platform made for you, or the choices that you overrode while you were going through the pipeline. So entire sequence of your steps, it's all in here in the trace. And as someone who likes to experiment, many times when I'm looking at the prediction, I want to go back and look at what is it that I made a choice for? Did I choose sentiments in here? Did I choose topic mining or not? What features were there in the training data? I want to go back and see which the platform derived for me. Or I want to see what those models were and their performance numbers, along with what the globally important predictors were. When I'm looking at a particular explanation in here, and I want to see, well, the local importance here says this has the highest importance, sentiments. The local importance for the other data points, the importance of sentiment is not as high. And how does it stand in comparison to the globally important web predictors? If I wanted to go back and check, it's this trace feature which allows you to do this. That's an important aspect of transparency. The platform telling you every step of the way what it's doing, and not just that, at any point in future, you should be able to trace back. When I say future, I said it because when you do the experiments, all your data sets and models, they get stored here. And you build these models, uploaded these data sets today, you want to come back tomorrow, you can find your data sets in here. Not just that, you can get the trace of that particular session too for uploading the data set. So it's everything in there for both the non-data scientists who prefer to use the UI versus the wannabe amateur as well as somewhat expert data scientists too, using the APIs. And that concludes my demonstration. Any questions?
Yes, I hope we didn't put people to sleep. Any questions, please?
No, I have many questions, but I don't know. I need to play a little bit because the first question I'm asking myself, because the resemblance of explainability is the, let's say, the good feature of this product. And if you compare this with H2O, why should select this and not H2O?
Explainability
Is with compared with respect to Microsoft's
No,
Azure
to
Studio?
H2O.
Oh, H2O.
Yes.
So H2O has implemented global explainability for several years now, where they tell you across all your training data which predictors played an influential role in training the machine. Insofar as the local importance is concerned, which is not across all your training data, but for this specific prediction in the test data, what are the influential predictors? That could be different than the global rank order. It could be some of those predictors, but in different orders. And insofar that is concerned, H2O late last year, I think, just recently implemented Lime for local explainability. So it's work in progress for H2O. This, in fact, Data Robot is a step ahead of H2O in that they have some proprietary mechanisms for local importance. This goes beyond both of them in terms of local explainability. The EazyML, I'm sorry, where it pinpoints what were the reasons by intelligent sampling around the local point over and above what Lime says. So that's the big difference between H2O, Data Robot, and this particular platform.
Yeah, so Elena, we can stay up a few minutes more. We are okay. If you guys are okay, we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Or, I know it's late, we can also schedule another call.
I think it's better to digest and then exchange more idea. Just my question is, if we decide to use something of this, is this going to be free for our students?
We could offer a free subscription for a couple of months, and then we could offer a reduced price because it's academics.
So a couple of months, what that means? Couple of months, 2 months, and that's it?
Yes, 2 months.
Yeah, we can, let's say for a semester, we can offer free subscription, but then after that, it could be hosted in your cloud, for instance, right? If you have enough, because what happens in machine learning is that people have these gigantic training data sets, right? And you're well aware of that, right? And then it gets to be a compute hog in the cloud, and then we would get stuck with a humongous bill.
Yeah.
But if you have lots of spaces that, for instance, Microsoft or OCI, Oracle, or AWS has offered for educational purposes, then we can avail of that and license this in your cloud, right?
Yeah.
So when you say a couple of months, that's not a problem, but that is going to be for the student of 1 semester. What I do with the student next semester, I will have to put this in the cloud we are managing. or you're going to give to that student the next
Yeah, so so Elena, our biggest expense is cloud. And we cannot, offer free subscription to hundreds of students because we are going to incur, it's hosted in Azure.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a challenge for us. If you have a cloud or relationships with cloud providers, we can discuss.
Educational providers, they offer these services for educational reasons, sometimes free of charge. And so we can say, all right, so let's put it in your cloud.
Yes.
And now you have something available, right?
Yeah. Let me think about this because the options are not, I'm thinking about from my point of view, not only about the best product, that's why I wanted the comparison with the other product, not only the best product, but also the most feasible, the more feasible in the classroom, that I will have continuation without the headache which the upper management of the university will produce for me. So I just explaining my position, and thank you so much.
Yes, and we are open to ideas. We are open to, creative ways of working together. We'd love to collaborate. So if you have ideas where we could make this work, we'll be happy to.
Right.
Excellent.
Right. And, as part of the curriculum, maybe the data sets that we design could be smaller so that it's not a compute hog in the cloud resource, right? That way we can keep the costs under control.
No, I have many other questions, but everyone runs. You are in this field for quite a bit. So what is this hype about the AutoML? Really, my question is really data scientists want this? I'm not talking about the specific data scientists as a professional. Do they want these tools?
Oh, yes. There's so many business analysts or people who do not know, who don't want to learn.
Yes, business analysts, yes. I'm talking about the real data scientist with good Python skills if he wants this. Business analysts, of course, they don't need to study and to understand the algorithm behind the scene and all this. Business analysts, I have no doubt. This is let's say, the citizen data scientist is just facilitating business analysts. I do understand, but I'm talking about the other side, which is the real data scientist.
Yes.
Like the statement, and you also made this statement, it facilitates his job productivity. Do you think really data scientists want this?
So what happens is there are sometimes data scientists, Elena, want to use basic building blocks. It's just like writing program, right, where you have functions and library functions that you call as a developer. You don't want to code your own. So for instance, be it sentiment analysis, for instance. I'm building a application on top of that, and I can certainly code my own sentiment analysis, but would I? If there's a library function out there that's available, right? So for instance, in programming languages in Python or C, there are library functions available. You call them, you know their specs, this is the input, that's the output. I'll call them, get that job done, because my focus is to invent this app, this particular function that I'm implementing. And I don't need to worry about each basic as long as it does what it specifies in its. So that's one way in which it can be really helpful to them as well. They don't have to worry about little things. They can worry about the big picture and assembling the whole thing, including writing their own intelligent machines and feeding maybe sentiment into their own intelligent machine, or predictors derived from concept extraction into their own predictive machine that they cooked up on TensorFlow, for instance, et cetera, et cetera. So it parallels what programmers do. They don't write every little routine. They call library functions and are more worried about, can I get my application to do what I want it to do?
Yeah, thank you so much. I
Are you very welcome?
just wanted more opinion. Thank you so much. I don't want to hold the meeting for more, and appreciate the presentation. It opens eyes for more thinking.
Yes. No, you're very welcome. We would love to, Linesh, if it's perhaps there were so many questions that if there's
Yeah.
another session after you've had some time to reflect on it, we'd be more than willing. So let us know, and then we would make ourselves available.
And yeah, you said, Elena, you said you would like to try it. We'll be happy to give you access to it, if you want to try it.
I think she has more questions right now.
Yeah, but I think before we do that, we would want to do another session so that this was very fast-paced.
You feel comfortable.
So you feel comfortable.
And get a chance to ask all your questions rather than rush it towards the end. So please, if there is another session,
we'll kind of
make
post another
ourselves
session soon.
Yeah, we'll be happy.
Come back.
Okay, cool.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Any other
Thank you,
questions before
guys.
we adjourn? Thank you so much, team. Appreciate it.
Great. Very,
Thank you.
very, very interesting.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, good night. Good night, everyone. Thank you again.
Bye. Wonderful evening. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.